Hello, it's Jane here. I'm up at the allotment and yes, I'm wearing dungarees. Please don't unsubscribe. What will it be next? It'll be a big straw hat next, won't it? And I don't know, a bit of straw coming out my mouth. I don't know. Anyway, as it is, it's Easter weekend over here in the UK, Good Friday. And I'm going to take advantage of the, well, I'm saying the nice weather, the clouds have just come over, of the supposedly nice weather that's coming this weekend to put my bean poles in, because nothing to me says the season is starting than when you start seeing all the bean canes go up and everybody's garden, instead of looking flat, it's all starting to go vertical. So I'm probably only going to do this side today, and there's another reason I'm doing it. Today, if you've been watching the last few videos, you'll know that I am trialling a little bit by growing according to the phases of the moon. So today I am going to do the top half between the bean poles. I'm going to directly sow some parsnips because we are coming up to a full moon, which means that it is completely the wrong time to sow root crops, because full moon, going towards the full moon, it should be all leafy greens, etc., things that grow above the ground. But if I put these parsnips in today, and then in a couple of weeks when we'll have a new moon, when it's waning towards the new moon, I'm going to put the other half in there. So there won't be too much of a difference in the time that I've sown them, but there might just be a difference in the results. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to get these bean poles up, might do that side, probably won't. I've got to say, it's not a job I particularly enjoy, but I love seeing them up. But the first thing I'm going to have to do is give this ground a little bit of a hoe. Yeah, we topped this patch with some really well rotted horse manure. And as you can see now, we have got loads of what look like annual self-seeded weeds. Now, whether they came in the manure, whether they were in the soil, I don't know, but I think they're going to come out. They're nothing untoward, nothing nasty. We'll just give them a quick hoe before we start. Okay, it's had a bit of a hoe, a little bit of a rake, and you can see now I've marked out where the bean canes are going to go. So the 2 rows of canes are going to go there. It's about 12 to 15 inches apart. I mean, what you've got to remember with this is you're going to be planting the beans on the inside of the canes to help them with climbing the canes. Do not plant on the outside. So I can get the canes on this side really as close to the edge as I want to, because the growth will be coming from the inside. But whereas I might usually make them a couple of inches slightly closer together, on this occasion I want to leave plenty of room for the parsnips to grow down the middle. So you can see as well, I've put a bar there, and that is because that's about halfway along, because this side I'm planting by the waxing moon, and that side is going to be planted in a week or so by the waning moon. So yeah, we'll have a direct side-by-side contrast. So let's sow some parsnips. Okay, one of the first things I'm going to do is just make a little trench. Now, I did say this is very, very well rotted horse manure, but obviously I don't want to be planting directly into it, because whatever you think, it might still be a bit too hot. So I'm just going to go down to the actual level of the soil beneath, go right the way along. Oh, sorry worm, out the way. There we go. So yeah, so it might be covered in the compost, sorry, in the manure. There's lots of red worms here, which is brilliant, and that tells me that the manure has broken down nicely and it's still working. So if I just do that for now, all the way along to the thing. Can you hear Mike's doing the guttering on the chicken house? It was peaceful a minute ago. Okay. So I've got that down to there. I mean, again, oops, this is all an experiment. This is what you're going to have as, not a catch crop, an intercrop. So I'm using space that wouldn't have otherwise been used to put in crops that would have taken up space elsewhere. So if they don't work, and if the power of the moon is against them, you never know, then we will see. Nothing wasted. Right, okay, nice little trench dug out for them there, and before I do anything else, I'm just going to make sure that's had a little water. So rather than, whoopsie, rather than water the seeds on top, which I might do just to settle the soil back down, I know that immediately they're going to be reaching for the soil or the water below the surface. There we go. That looks like it's settling down nicely. Now I've had a minor technical hiccup. Oh, let's just get rid of these, shall we? In that, can you believe, you probably can, I forgot to bring my parsnip seeds up. So I have had some parsnip seeds donated to me. Let's see if I can find them, by a lovely plot neighbour. But I've got no idea what they are. If I just wobble the camera a minute, can you see? Let's have a look. Can you see that? I don't know what they are. It says paholkur, but they do look like parsnip seeds, so that's good enough for me. Now, they're famously difficult to germinate. People chit them, people soak them beforehand, they do all sorts of things, and you wouldn't think, they look like perfectly nice seeds, don't they? You might think they'd be up in a day or two, but we're just going to put them in and see how they do. The other thing, of course, is if they're old seed, I think parsnip are the most temperamental seed to sow. If they're more than a year old, most seeds you can keep for a good few years. Even it gives you a recommendation on the packet. They're still viable after a while. In fact, the same neighbour who donated these to me planted some brassicas out the other day. I think they were from 1979. And they're coming. They've got their little heads above ground. So I'm just, I'm saying thinly, sewing these along there, and that's a little bit thick, but yeah, I'll go all the way to the end of the line and then I'll give them a little bit of a cover up. Okay, all I need to do now is drag some of that soil back over the top, and I'll show you my little tip for helping them to germinate. There we go, bedtime parsnips. Right then, and the last thing I'm going to do to these parsnips for now is just cover where the trench was with a little bit of wood. I know they didn't go that far down. They went to about there. Okay, and this really helps them to germinate. I do know what the reason is, but I can't think for the life of me what it is now. It'll be something to do with them trying to get to the light. Okay, so we've got them in darkness there, it's fairly warm, it's wet. The only thing that's missing for them is the light, so they will put on a bit more of a spurt to fight their way through. But yeah, that's the parsnips done. Now's the bit I do find a little bit tedious. say I'm really rather pleased with that. I've brought the upper horizontal cane a little bit further down than I normally do this year, because when you put it high up, they all get mishmashed together at the top. So there's Mike in the polytunnel. This way, I'm going to have to cover that as well, aren't I? This way they'll continue growing up the poles and start to fall back on the outside of the plant again, which should make it a lot easier to pick. But yeah, first bean canes up. Haven't planted any beans yet. There's the parsnip plank, and it's starting to look a little bit more like spring. Okay, so here we are. You know, when I say I find it quite an onerous task, it's so nice seeing them going up, and you know now that they're going to be there until the end of the season. They really mark the beginning of the end of the seasons, don't they? I've just got this side to put up now. I have, Mary. So yeah, I still don't know if I'm going to plant my beans in pots or directly into the ground. I think at the rate I'm going, the fact I haven't sown any seeds whatsoever yet, even my tomatoes, that's a this weekend job. I'm probably going to end up sowing them direct, but I might put a few in pots just in case, because remember, the just in cases are just as important. So yeah, I'll do that as a bit of an insurance strategy, but really pleased to get them done. Whether the parsnips will germinate, as I say, I'm really not sure what variety they are. But it was very, very kind of a neighbour to offer them. I don't know, but if they do, we will see how they get on against the waning parsnips, the waning moon parsnips. So it's just an experiment. And again, it's using the space that would otherwise just be dead space between the beans. So do try and think of what you can put in there. You might want to put quick growing crops, like things like your lettuce and your radish, that you're going to be able to harvest before your beans have actually made it up the poles. So do think about utilising all that space, because it's amazing once you start getting a bit creative with your thinking just how much you can squeeze into a small area. So yeah, so anyway, it's a lovely day. I think we're due to have a few nice days this weekend, so it's certainly ramping it up at the allotment. So there'll be quite a few more videos in the pipeline coming very, very soon. Hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope you're all well, and if you enjoyed it, please press subscribe. I'm actually 60 subscribers away from my 6,000, and it is my 6th year of videoing. So I know 666 is a very unlucky number, but it could be quite lucky for me, or quite nice. So please consider subscribing, press the bell, come along to Facebook and Instagram and say hello. Okay, and hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.